Shalom, shalom. All praises to the Most High, Yahweh, and His Son, Yahweh Shah. Today's class is Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 1. That's going to be Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 1. So you get your Bibles out so we can read. Following along with the class. Hopefully this is not, this ain't your Sunday church. A lot of people looking for that Sunday church. And the reason why I say that is because a lot of people looking for the drums in the background. You know what I'm saying? They looking for the heart. They looking for the brrrr, brrrr. You looking for the, you looking for the guitar. You know what I'm saying? See, that's what they looking for, man. They looking for somebody that, you looking for somebody to entertain you. You know what I'm saying? You looking for some, this whole world, man. Looking around, man. This whole world is looking for somebody to entertain them, man. When you get in a relationship, man, your woman be looking for you to entertain her, man. Right? When you get in a relationship, your man be looking for you to entertain him, man. A lot of these dudes want to be entertained. A lot of these women want to be entertained. You see what I'm saying? Everybody get off on this energetic entertainment. You know what I'm saying? Everybody get off on this energy. Everybody want energy. Everybody want to take that energy or they want to give some energy, right? We in the world, man, when you was in the world, a lot of times, everybody was, you see Lil Wayne, you know what I'm saying? You see Boosie, right? You see Kevin Gates, you see, all the reality shows out there, man. You see all the different TV shows and stuff. You see all this stuff, man, and it's all it is just a bunch of entertainment. And the thing is, man, is that's what you've been programmed on, man. Right? You've been programmed on entertainment. You've been programmed on how can I get my next high? How can I get my next wave? You know what I'm saying? How can I get that next endorse that what they call it, the oxytocin, man. Put oxytocin in the comments, man. That way I can, y'all see if y'all are actually paying attention. Everybody's looking for that next endorphin, man. Everybody's looking for that next oxytocin, man. Everybody's looking for that next high. Everybody's looking for that next, that next drug. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of drugs out here in America. Right? We've been programmed, man. We've been eating on a lot of drugs. We've been taking a lot of drugs, man. And all drugs don't come in marijuana. You see what I'm saying? All drugs don't come in cigarettes, right? Some drugs come in, TV shows. Some drugs come in the form of, sex. Some drugs come in the form of relationships, right? Drugs come in all different forms and fashion. You see what I'm saying? Everybody's looking for the next high. You see what I'm saying? Everybody's looking for that next sugar. Man, sugar is a drug, but see, we talking about that internal drug that we dealing with internally. You see what I'm saying? Everybody's looking for that internal drug, man. We've been raised, we growed up. I'm 31 years old. We growed up on all types of different drugs in our communities, especially in the black communities. You know what I'm saying? We growed up on all these different types of drugs. We growed up on gang violence, right? We growed up on toxic parents, toxic marriages. You see what I'm saying? We growed up on all this stuff, man, and we don't want to change. You get in your 30s, you get in your 40s, most people don't want to change. Most people don't want to continue, don't want to repent. Most people don't want to change. You see what I'm saying? So that's the problem, man. You got a lot of times where we growed up in these bad communities and these bad relationships and these bad homes, and all of this stuff has destroyed us, man. You see what I'm saying? All this stuff has destroyed us, right? Because it became that sugar. It became that next high. You know what I'm saying? When you see your parents arguing all the time, growing up as a child, that's what you associate your love with. Now you get in a relationship, you expecting them to be, toxic. You see what I'm saying? So people are associating their toxic relationships with their toxic lifestyle that they lived all their life with their parents. Right? So you associating your toxic parental guidance in your toxic parental relationships with your relationship status today. See what I'm saying? So the thing is, man, is that's what we consider love today. Right? We're normalizing this stuff, man. We're normalizing dysfunction. You see what I'm saying? And so that's what's going on. We are here normalizing this dysfunction. So we are in a dysfunctional society. And everything is backwards. You see what I'm saying? Everything is backwards. Everything is, just all over the place. You know what I'm saying? So, it's going to be very hard, okay, for you to repent. It's going to be very hard. I'm not going to sit here and be the one to tell you that this is an easy walk. I'm not going to be the one to sit here and tell you, because look, a lot of brothers out here, a lot of sisters out here be telling you that this is just all it is, just keep the commandments. And I'm going to tell you, man, you could be keeping the commandments and still be committing adultery. You could be keeping the commandments and still have hate in your heart. You could be keeping the commandments and still be carnally minded. You follow what I'm saying? So you got to understand that the message that I'm bringing is not the message that a lot of people are used to. Because you got to understand that we have to evolve. Right? And the problem is that don't nobody want to evolve. Don't nobody want to change. Everybody want to stay the same. We got brothers and sisters, man, they've been in this truth for almost 10 years, and they still talking about the same thing. They've been talking about the same thing for 10 years. You see what I'm saying? Don't nobody want to change. Don't nobody really want to evolve, man. Don't nobody really want to be, because the scriptures say, man, the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of brothers are still carnally minded, man. A lot of sisters are still carnally minded, right? And so a lot of them don't want to change. A lot of them don't want to get this medicine. They don't want to get this antidote. You see what I'm saying? So that's the problem, man. When you come into the truth, man, when you first learn something, when you come into this truth, the second thing that you're supposed to be doing is you're supposed to be evolving. You're supposed to be studying to show yourself approved. You're supposed to be trying to, learn doctrine, learn different things, man. Correct the doctrines, correct the different things that you see in out here, all the different things that you're witnessing out here. Because we have so much hate in our heart. A lot of brothers and sisters, man, they hate all they do is hate on the Christianity church, and they always talking about the Christians, but not realizing that they need to also listen to them, because a lot of times the Christians be telling the truth. And the problem is that you got brothers out here, they so hateful, man, that they don't want to listen to the Christians and stuff. When I was watching a video the other day, man, with this carnal Israelite was talking to this Christian lady, and the Christian lady told him, she said, man, you need to stop being carnal. You need to be focusing more on spiritual things. And the brother just had a whole bunch of stuff to say, and he was like, forget you, because you a spiritual Israelite, and we spiritual, but we not that type of spiritual, and this and that and the third. Not realizing that the sister was actually right. So a lot of times, man, we have brothers and sisters, just because they keeping the law of Moses does not mean that they are spiritual Israelites, does not mean that they are spiritually minded Israelites. You got brothers and sisters out here, they'll call you a spiritual Israelite or a Christian Israelite, right? But then they get mad when you call them a carnal Israelite, right? Because the problem is I'd rather be a spiritually minded Israelite than a carnally minded Israelite. You understand what I'm saying? So I'd rather be a Christian Israelite or a spiritually minded Israelite than a carnally minded Israelite. That's a big difference, sweetie. Big, big difference. So, but that's not to get off topic. Let's go ahead and get into Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 1. Now, faith. This is the problem. A lot of people don't have faith, man. Is the substance of things hoped for. Faith is the things and the substance of things that are hoped for, and the evidence of things that are not seen. See, a lot of people, man, they want to see it before they believe it. instead of believing it before they see it. You see what I'm saying? And so a lot of people don't have faith in this world. You know, you can be keeping the law of Moses, but that don't mean you have a lot of faith. You see what I'm saying? And so that's where you lack. A lot of brothers and sisters lack faith. You see what I'm saying? They don't really walk upright. You see what I'm saying? You know, you got brothers and sisters still out here with grills on. You still got brothers and sisters still out here, you know, worshiping different, you know, religions and different idols. They think they in the truth and they not, right? You got to understand, man, a lot of people have been given over to their own vain opinion and to their own vain judgment. You see what I'm saying? Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. A lot of people don't have this faith, man, right? They don't have that spiritual faith, the one that's not seen. You see what I'm saying? A lot of people want to see it because they corner, right? Because they're still walking in the flesh, right? For by faith, the elders obtained a good report. So by faith, these elders obtained a good report. Wise men and women obtained a good report. All of your wise men throughout the time all obtained a good report because they was keeping this faith inside of them. You see what I'm saying? Faith was the very thing that drove the Israelites to Israel, to the land of Canaan. Right? Faith was the very thing. And you have to understand, without faith, you have nothing. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, imagine working at a job and, you know, the boss tell you to just work the cashier. And all you want to do is you want to be a cashier, right? But you don't really have no faith in the company. You see what I'm saying? You don't really have no faith in growing the company with them, with the boss. You see what I'm saying? You just doing what the boss tell you to do. And that's your little task. And that's just, you know, being a cashier. You see what I'm saying? But you don't really have that faith. You see what I'm saying? You don't really have that faith of a mustard seed. You know what I'm saying? You don't really see yourself within the company. You don't really see yourself becoming the CEO of that company. Right? You only see yourself as a cashier. You see what I'm saying? Some people can't see past being a cashier. Right? Some people can't see past being a custodian. Right? Some people can't see past where they at right now. You see what I'm saying? Some people can't see past that stuff. You see what I'm saying? Where are you right now? Do you see past where you are right now? Right? Do you see past where you are right now? Right? Do you have hope that wherever you are right now, that you're gonna move forward? Right? Do you have that hope right now where you are right now? Do you feel like you're gonna be able to move forward in life? Do you feel like you're gonna be able to excel? Do you feel like you're going to be able to evolve, right? Do you feel like you're going to be able to change where you are right now? To change some things where you are right now, right? If you don't feel like you can change where you are right now, if you don't feel like you have an end result or an outcome, right, to where you are right now, then most likely you don't have a lot of faith. You don't have a lot of faith. Verse 3, Hebrews chapter 11, verse 3, it says, through faith we understand the worlds were framed by the word of God. Through faith, the Israelite world was framed through the word of God. Right? The whole world was framed through faith. God framed the world through faith. Right? Through his own faith, he was able to build this country, this whole world that we live in today. Right? So through faith, we understand that the Israelite world, the whole world was framed by the word of God, by the mouth of God. This whole world was framed. Right? So that the things which are seen were not made of the things which do appear. So the things which were seen were not made of the things which do appear. Right? So you got to understand that, you know, the things which you see today are not made of the things. See, what was the things that you see today, what are they made of today? Right? What are the things that you see today, what are they made of today? Right? What are they truly made of? Right? The things that you see today, that iPhone that you see today, that computer that you see today, that laptop that you see today, this car seat that you see today, right? This apartment that you see today, this house, right? Everything that you see today, the car that you drive, right? the money that you have, right? You know, right? All of this stuff was developed through faith. You see what I'm saying? It was the things that was not seen. It was the things that was not seen that made the things appear. The things that we don't see is the things that make these things that you see today appear. So it's the physical, the faith is the substance of things not seen that create the substance of the things that you see today. The substance that you see today, everything, even yourself, is made out of faith of God, the faith of God. Everything that you see today was made out of the faith of God. Right? By faith, Abel offered unto God a more excellent sacrifice than Cain. See, even by faith, Abel was able to make a more excellent sacrifice unto God, because through his faith, through Abel's faith, he was able to make a more excellent sacrifice than Cain, because you have a lot of Cain spirits running around, man. Right? They keeping the law of Moses, but they don't have the faith of God. They don't have the true faith of God. You see what I'm saying? So you got to understand, you have Cains running around and you have Israelites running around. Right? And so you got brothers out here that's keeping the commandments, but they don't have no faith. Right? And Cain's offering was rejected because of the lack of faith that Cain had. Right? So that's what happened, man. Let's get that. Let's get the scripture on Cain and his offering being rejected. Right? Let's get that, because we need to read that to get a better understanding of Cain and Abel. Genesis chapter 4, verse 5, it says, but unto Cain and to his offering he had not respect. So unto Cain and his offering he had not respect, because Cain's offering was not the offering of faith. See, a lot of brothers and sisters doing a lot of work out here right now, man. Right? They out here doing a lot of work. They going out to the street corners. Right? They teaching people to keep the commandments. Right? They out here keeping the Sabbath. Right? And so they keeping majority of some of the laws. Right? And so they're making an offering unto the Lord. Right? Brothers and sisters are making offerings unto the Lord every day. But some people got a Cain spirit on them, and everybody that's doing the work of the Lord is not doing it with the faith of God. And the thing is that God is not going to have respect for a majority of these brothers and sisters, because they not doing it through faith. And Cain was wroth, and his countenance failed. Because look, are you mad? Are you going to be mad when the Most High rejects you? Are you going to be mad when the Most High rejects you and tell you that everything that you've been doing up until this point in this truth, that it wasn't good enough? Right? Are you going to be mad about that? And why is the countenance falling? The Most High said, why have your countenance fallen? Why are you mad? Right? Because you got to understand, see, a lot of brothers and sisters going to be mad when the Most High shut that door in their face. A lot of brothers and sisters are going to be mad when the Most High say, man, you didn't come of faith. You didn't come of true love. You didn't come of that genuine love for me. Right? You was keeping the commandments, but you wasn't really coming with that true faith. You wasn't coming with that genuine love, with that spiritual mind. You see what I'm saying? You wasn't coming with that. You was coming with hate. You was really coming with hate. You was really coming with deception, with deceit. You see what I'm saying? You was coming with you was coming with carnality and walking in the flesh. You see what I'm saying? You was coming with your own vain opinion. You was coming with your own righteousness, right? You was coming with all of these things, but you wasn't coming in the right way. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of times, man, look, that's why the Most High was like, man, why are you mad? Why is your countenance falling? Right? The Most High said, if do is well, shall do not be accepted. Shall you not be accepted if you do well? If you're doing this walk right, shall you not be accepted of God? Right? But see, a lot of people know deep down that whether they doing this walk right or whether they doing this walk wrong. Deep down, people know. Deep down, they know whether they doing this walk the right way or whether they doing this walk the wrong way. Right? So deep down, you know if God is accepting of your works. Deep down, you know if God is truly going to accept you when you try to make it to the kingdom of heaven. Deep down, you truly know what's really going on with you, man. Right? Only you know that, because a lot of people, you know, they don't know what you're going through. They don't know how you living, man. They don't know what you're doing behind closed doors. Right? So at the end of the day, don't nobody know what you truly dealing with. Don't nobody know what you truly going on, what you got going on behind the scene. Right? So a lot of times people put on the front, right? They try to put on the front and make it seem like they have a lot of faith, but they don't. Right? And so that's what a lot of times people put on the front. So you got to understand that, look, we don't know what you're doing behind closed doors, right? The Most High said, my eyes are brighter than the sun, right? 10 times brighter than the sun. So we don't know what you're doing behind closed doors. You follow what I'm saying? So that's on you to find out. That's on you to see if your offering is going to be accepted of the Lord through faith. But if you have no faith, I can guarantee you right now, if you have no faith and you're doing all this work of the Lord, you will get rejected. And so don't get mad when you get rejected, because you knew what you was doing. Right? So a lot of times, brothers and sisters always try to act like they don't know what happened when they get rejected. It's kind of like with a woman, right? When you go get rejected by that woman, you know you came at that woman the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? You came at that woman the wrong way, and then you expecting that woman to accept you, and expecting that woman to, you know, to accept how you came at her. You know, you can't expect her to be nice to you after you just came to her on some corny stuff, right? So a lot of times, you know what you do, you know what you're doing. You see what I'm saying? To be accepted of the Most High God. And if you do not well, sin lied at the door, man. If you do not well, you know you doing wrong right here. You're not coming of faith, right? And you know you're not coming of faith, man. That sin gonna lie at that door, right? Because you gotta understand, whoever is not of faith is sin. Right? So a lot of brothers are sinning right now because they have no faith. A lot of sisters are sinning right now because they have no faith. And unto thee shall be his desire, and do shall rule over him, man. Sin gonna rule over you. That's what's gonna be your desire. Whatever you focus on, whatever you focus on in your mind, whatever you focus on in your mind, that is what's going to rule over you. Whatever you feel like is more important to you than God, that's what's going to rule over you, right? So you got to understand that whatever sin that you're committing, that's what's going to rule over you, right? So sometimes you could be thinking that you're walking in the Spirit of God, but you're not. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of brothers and sisters think that they're walking in the Spirit of God, but they're not, because they are not coming of the faith of God. They're not coming of the righteousness of God. They're coming of their own righteousness. They're coming of their own mind, their own wicked, their own judgments and their own suspicions. Like Cain. And Cain talked with Abel, his brother. So you can't be mad at God. That's why he said, why are you mad? Because you doing me like I'm doing you. If you rejected me, because look, a lot of brothers out here are rejecting God. And so don't be mad at him for rejecting you. I don't understand why people don't understand that. If you rejecting God, then he gonna reject you. It's really that simple, right? So why are you mad? That's what he asked Cain. He said, why are you mad, Cain? Why is your countenance falling? Your countenance have always been falling because you was mad. You wasn't coming of faith anyway. You knew you was doing wrong. You know what I'm saying? And so you was rejecting God. Just like Esau. Esau rejected God. And guess what? God rejected Esau. So you know what you're doing. Cain know what he doing. Esau know what he doing. These people know what they doing. So it's no excuses. And then people want to make it seem like then they want to play victim, and then they want to make it seem like, well, then they want to come up with all these excuses, right? And they're gonna go all around the merry-go-round to try to figure out, to try to make it seem like they was not at the fault, that they was not in the fault, or that they was not in the wrong, and they was very well in the wrong. People go around and around and around and around the merry-go-round to try to make it seem like they wasn't in the wrong, right? So a lot of people do this today, right? Going around and around and around and around, round and round and round and round, round and round, merry-go-round, man. People do this in their relationships. People do this in their business partnerships. People do this all the time, and if you don't catch them, they will continue to do this little merry-go-round with you. So you got to understand, man, God is not just talking about you, right? You got to understand that this is you doing this throughout your entire life, right? Everybody that you encounter, this is happening. You see what I'm saying? It's not like it's just with God. It's also with your fellow brothers and sisters, right? Your fellow man. You do this with your own people. You do this. People do this all the time with their own people. Look at how our people operate. Our people do not even like our own people, right? Black people don't even, you be walking down the street, you go to the store, you talk to your people, they don't even want to talk to you. You see what I'm saying? We do this all the time. We reject each other all the time. We excommunicate each other all the time. We excommunicate each other all the time, right? We go to the store, somebody excommunicates you. We go over here to the Barnes and Noble, somebody excommunicates you, right? We talk to somebody, you talk to that chick that you really like, she excommunicates you, she block you, she don't text you back, yada, 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 right? It's always somebody in the truth or somebody in Israel, non-Gentile and Jews alike. It's always somebody rejecting you. It's always somebody that don't want to hear what you got to say. It's always somebody. You see what I'm saying? And that's the problem with these Israelites. They always rejecting. And then what the biggest problem is when you reject God. Right? If you doing it to man, you definitely going to do it to God. You see what I'm saying? Because how you going to say you love God and you hate your brother? A lot of people hate their brothers. A lot of people hate their sisters. So how you going to say you love God and you hate your brother, you hate your sister? So of course you gonna get rejected by God because you also rejecting your brothers and sisters, right? So you get rejected by them too. You see what I'm saying? So it's not just it's both. It's both. It's man and God. Because if you don't like God, you more likely don't like your brother. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of people do it, man. A lot of people don't like their brother, man. A lot of them hate their brother for real. You see what I'm saying? Because they don't want to listen. They don't want to take heed to what you're saying. They want to argue with you. They want to go back and forth. They think they know it all. They think they the bishops. They think they the elders. They think that they know. They think that they got the spirit. They think that they supposed to just be keeping the commandments, or they got their own righteousness. You can't tell them nothing. They got it all figured out. They the smartest person in the world. You can't tell them nothing, man. You see what I'm saying? So they reject you. And so when you reject them, then they looking crazy. When the Most High exalts you, and then he abase them, and then they come to you and they're like, oh, what happened? Well, just like they did with their brother Joseph. You see what I'm saying? They thought they knew it all, and then what happened? They put Joseph in the pit, and then God exalted Joseph, and then the other 12 tribes or whatever, they went off and they ended up having a famine, and then Joseph was sitting back looking at them crazy because Joseph was the one that God called, because he accepted Joseph, because Joseph came by faith. Joseph came by faith, right? That's the problem. A lot of brothers and sisters aren't coming by. It's more people that's not coming of faith than it is people coming of faith. I'm telling you, man. The majority are not coming to faith. And that's the problem. Very, 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 very few people are coming to faith. Very, very, very few. And Cain talked with Abel and his brother. And it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel, his brother, and slew him. See, a lot of brothers, man, they know when they're not coming to faith, man, they get mad. And when they get mad, they kill their brothers, man. And that's not talking about just a physical kill either. That's not talking about, you know, sticking a knife in you, man. It's also talking about that hate, that jealousy, that envy, that strife. See, that a lot of people, when they had that carnal mind, they had that hate on them, man. They had that strife, that jealousy on them. They have all of that murdering in their heart, man. They don't really, because they got a carnal mind. You see what I'm saying? That's why they always debating. And they always want to debate with you. And they want all this stuff. Because they got that carnal, they got a carnal mind. You see what I'm saying? And they hate their brother, right? Because they know they got that spirit of Cain on them. Because they don't understand the scriptures, so they wanna debate. Or they wanna pull you down with them. Because they know God didn't accept them. Same thing with Esau. God didn't accept Esau, so guess what happened? Esau was trying to pull Jacob down. And we're talking generations of time, right? Esau been trying to pull Jacob down forever. Because he knew he wasn't getting accepted by God. That's why he was trying to pull Jacob down, man. So everybody is not coming of the faith. And that's the problem, man. And you got brothers and sisters out here that's going to get jealous of you because they aren't coming of the faith and they are not being accepted by God. They have not been called by God. And so now they want war. They want war. Tell you straight up. They want war. Let's get it, man. Let's see how Esau did, man. Because Esau did the same thing, man. Let's get the scripture on Esau. Right? Let's get that. Pull the script here. Get Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 17. Let's talk about Esau for a second, because Esau was pulling his brother Jacob down because he also was profane and he was defiled. And so and his offerings wasn't getting accepted by God. So he was mad at his brother Jacob and he wanted to take vengeance. And he's been taking vengeance ever since today. That's why he put the white man above Jacob today. Because he'd rather see the heathens over us than us being in rulership. Can you believe that? That's a lot of hatred, man. That's a lot of hatred. Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 17, it says, "For ye know how that afterward," this is Esau, "when Esau would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected." Ain't that what God just said to Cain? Was it Cain also rejected? The same thing that happened to Esau. The same spirit, right? So you can be an Esau. A lot of brothers and sisters you can be an Esau. You can be a Cain, right? A lot of brothers and sisters don't know that they got that Cain spirit. They don't know they got that Esau spirit, that Edomite spirit. You see what I'm saying? And they're going to get rejected by the Most High God. For he found no repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears. Though you seek this, you can seek this truth all day long. You can put in all the work that you want to put in. If your offering is not coming of faith, you are going to get denied. You're going to get rejected. And a lot of brothers and sisters, man, this is like talking to the choir. Because I guarantee you a lot of these brothers and sisters already know they're going to get rejected. They already know. So it's not even up for debate. Verse 4, let's go to Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 4. "By faith, Abel offered unto God a more excellent sacrifice than Cain, because his sacrifice was by faith, by which he obtained witness that he was righteous." See, this is how you obtain witness that you are truly righteous in the spirit. This is how you obtain the true righteousness of God that I've been talking about in these last videos, these last 7 videos. This is how you obtain the true righteousness of God. Through your faith. God testifying of his gifts. God testified of his gifts, man. And by it, he being dead yet speaketh. See, by it being dead, he speaketh. See, he was dead, but he was still speaking. He was still speaking, because you got to understand, it says, and by faith, being dead, yet speaketh. God testifying of his gifts. And by faith, being dead, yet speaketh. You got to understand, some people can be dead, but that faith will make you alive. See what I'm saying? Faith is what makes you alive. Faith is what makes you come to life. Man, because you can still be dead out here, man. Out here pushing all these works of Moses and still be dead in the spirit. Because faith is what pushes you alive. It's what increases your dead spirit. It's what drives your spirit, makes you want this. Because without faith, you won't want to read this Bible. Without faith, you're not going to want to really get in the spirit. Without faith, you're not going to want to think about God. Without faith, you're not going to want to study the scriptures. Without faith, you're not going to want to teach the brothers and sisters for real, right? You're not going to want to have patience with the brothers and sisters. Without faith, man. And without faith, you're not going to even be able to see the scriptures spiritually instead of carnally. Man, you got to have this faith, man. I'm telling you. Without faith, you're nothing. You're nothing. Verse 5, Hebrews chapter 11, verse 5, it says, by faith, Enoch was translated that he should not see death. See, even by faith, Enoch was translated and was not found, because God had translated him. For before his translation, he had his testimony that he pleased God. Do you have the testimony that you pleasing God right now? Do you have that true testimony that you're pleasing God by faith? Verse 6, but without faith, it is impossible to please God. Without faith, it is impossible, nearly impossible to please God. Man, it is impossible without faith to please God. Without the Spirit, it is impossible to please God. I'm telling you. For he that cometh to God must believe that he is. A lot of people that come to God, they got to believe that God is. That God is the one. That he's the true and only one. You got to know that. You got to know that God is the one. See what I'm saying? But without faith, it is impossible to please God. For he that cometh to God must believe in that he is, and that she is a rewarder of them, faith of them that diligently seek God. So you get rewarded by having the faith of God. But you also get rewarded by having not the faith of God. You also get rewarded by not having the faith of God. Just as much as you get rewarded by having the faith of God. Man. By faith, Noah, being warned of God of things not seen as yet, moved with fear. See, because with faith, you're going to move with fear. See, a lot of brothers and sisters, they not moving with fear. They still not wearing their fringes. They still not changing their Instagram profiles. They still not changing their Facebook profiles. They still not changing their TikTok profiles. They still not changing. See, they not changing the things, this outward man. They're not changing that outward man and turning that outward man into an inward man and woman. You see what I'm saying? They don't have no faith because they don't fear God. A lot of people don't fear God, right? A lot of people, I'm in the truth. How long you been in the truth? 10 years. You mean to tell me you still ain't changed? You still ain't got no fringes on? You still ain't even trying to attempt to put fringes on? You still ain't trying to attempt to walk in them commandments? You still ain't trying to attempt to keep the Feast of Tabernacle? To keep the Passover? You still ain't trying to attempt these things? So how are you saying you have faith in God? How do you say you believe in God and you not believing that he is and that you have the fear of God? Where is the fear behind it? Right? And that's the problem, man. People don't really have no fear behind God. And I'm telling you, they not fooling nobody, man. And I just told you, look what just happened to Cain and Esau. They got rejected. So don't be mad when you get rejected, man. Because you're not doing what the Most High tell you to do. You're not trying to repent. You're not trying to change. You got brothers and sisters that's not getting rebuked in the truth, right? They just walking around. Ain't nobody rebuking them. Ain't nobody telling them that they need to get more upright, that they need to change, that they need to, change their mind, right? That their conversations need to be different, right? That they need to, that they need to think about God every day. Not just one day out of the week. You see what I'm saying? Nobody's rebuking these people. Nobody's correcting nobody. We just letting people do whatever they want to do, man. In the truth. Because everybody think, oh, well, just because I'm in the truth, I'm going to be saved. Just because I'm in the truth, I got the keys to the kingdom. Right? Everybody think that just because they in this truth, that they have the keys to the kingdom. And that is going to be your biggest downfall, because you think that you got the keys to the kingdom because you just came in this truth and you didn't take it serious. You think you got the keys to the kingdom. It's so many brothers out here. It's so many sisters out here right now that think they got the keys to the kingdom because they just came in the knowledge of the truth and they good. Well, I can just sit on Instagram out there and look at all of my Instagram fellow Israelite brothers and sisters post all day, right? That's all you got to do. Right? That's all the faith that you have to do. Right? That's all the walking of God that you have to do. You see what I'm saying? They take this truth very, very, very lightly. They don't take it serious. They don't take this truth serious. A lot of these brothers and sisters do not take this truth serious. And the first thing they're going to do is they're going to get mad at me. They're going to get mad at somebody that's teaching them or telling them what I'm telling them. You see what I'm saying? Because you know what it is? They don't take this truth serious. And that's the problem, man. They think that it's all good. They know the truth. Well, I know the truth, so it's all good and gravy, right? I'm good, right? I'm good with God, right? I can keep the commandments. I'm good. That's it. Man, that's the biggest lie on the planet Earth. Without faith, it is impossible to please God. I'm telling you. And without fear, you can't please God when you don't have no fear of God. A lot of these people walking around this thing, man, talking about, man, I'm good. They ain't got no fringes on. They out here saying they ain't good. They in and out of wedlock with brothers and sisters, marriages, and they in and out of the truth. They lukewarm. They all over the place, man, right? So it's a lot of secret sinners. So you got to understand, man, it's not what you think. When you look at this thing on a spiritual level, you start realizing that a lot of these people are completely out of the faith. Verse 7, Hebrews chapter 11, verse 7, it says, by faith, Noah, being warned of God of the things not seen as of yet, moved with fear. Do you move with fear? Man, people don't move with fear, man. Are you moving in haste to keep the commandments? Are you moving in haste to walk in the spirit? Prepared an ark to the saving of his house. When you move, if you really want to save your house, you're going to have that faith. You see what I'm saying? If you really love God, and not only God, but yourself. Because if you loved yourself, you are going to move with fear. If you loved your family, if you loved your kids, if you loved your parents, if you love your daddy, your mom, you will take this truth a little bit more serious. See, the problem is that you don't really love God. You don't really love yourself. You don't really love your parents. You don't really love your boyfriend, your husband, right? Your wife. You don't really love them, right? Because you are supposed to be moving with fear of God. That's more important. See, because Noah prepared an ark to the saving of his house, man. See, Noah was so inferior that he prepared an ark to the saving of his house, by the which he condemned the world. He condemned by the same which he condemned the world. You see what I'm saying? You got to let go of the world. Do you condemn the world? Do you let go of the world? Or are you trying to let go of this world? You see what I'm saying? You got to condemn this world, man. So that way you got to come out of this world so that way you can enter into the world of God. And became heir of the righteousness which is by faith. By faith, Abraham, when he was called to go out into a place which he should after receive for an inheritance, obeyed and went out, knowing not where he was going. See, even Abraham, by faith, when he was called to go out of his place into a place which he should have, after received for an inheritance, right, obeyed and went out, and he went out, not having whether he would win. He didn't even know, by faith, he didn't even know where he was going. Abraham didn't even know where he was going, man. He just knew that he was going to receive an inheritance of God. You see what I'm saying? Verse 9, by faith he sojourned in the land of promise. See, Abraham sojourned in the land of Canaan today, right? Israel. By faith he sojourned in the land of promise, as in a strange country, dwelling in tabernacles with Isaac and Jacob, the heirs with him of the same promise. See, by faith he sojourned in the promise, man. He sojourned in that promise. For he looked for a city which had foundations, whose builder and maker is God. Who's your foundation? Who's your builder? Who's your builder? Who's your foundation? Who's your rock? Right? Who's that mountain for you? Who's that rock? Right? Who's your building blocks? Right? Who is that for real? Right? What do you fear? Right? Because that's what you're going to be a slave to. For he looked for a city which had foundations, whose builder and maker is God. Abraham feared God, and Abraham moved in fear of God. Through faith, also Sarah herself received strength to conceive seed. Sarah also, through faith, conceived seed. Through faith, she conceived seed and was delivered of a child when she was past age, because she judged him faithful who had promised. See, Sarah judged God faithful who had promised her a seed. So you got to understand, do you believe in God that much that you're going to give have a baby? That you're going to just conceive seed? Right? Do you believe in God that much that when he tell you that, hey, after all these tries that he said, hey, look, after all these tries, you're not going to have a baby, but you're going to have a baby. Don't worry. Hang on. And guess what? Sarah believed in God so much that she knew without a shadow of a doubt that she was going to have a baby. Even though she was having constant failure, she knew without a shadow of a doubt that she was going to have that baby, man. Right? Because she believed on God. Right? Therefore, sprang there even of one in him as good as dead, so many as the stars of the sky multitude, and as the sand which is by the seashore innumerable. Man. You got to understand, and him as good as dead, so many as the stars of the sky in multitude, as the sand is, which is about the seashore, innumerable. That's how big your faith got to be, right? Your faith got to be as the sand of the seashore, as the stars of the sky in the multitude, and him as good as dead, man. So you got to understand, these all died in faith. You see what I'm saying? Not having received the promises, but having seen them afar off, and were persuaded of them, and embraced them, and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on the earth. Man, all these people died in faith, not having received the promises, man, but having seen them afar off. It says, therefore sprang there even of one, in him of good as dead. So many as the stars of the sky in the multitude, and as the sand which is in the sea of the innumerable. These all died in faith, not having received the promises. But see, you can't receive the promises if you don't have no faith. You see what I'm saying? You can't receive the promises, man. You too worried about your boyfriend. You too worried about your ex-girlfriend. You too worried about your past. You too worried about, all these distractions out here that you can't focus on God. Right? So that's the problem. A lot of people are so focused on all these distractions that they can't focus on God. For they that say such things declare plainly that they seek a country. And truly, if they had been mindful of that country from whence they came out, they might have had opportunity to have returned. Right? You might have opportunity to return if you was mindful of the country where you came out. Then you might have had opportunity to return. Right? It's talking about these Israelites. You might have opportunity to return to the place where you came, if you have that faith of a mustard seed. Right? The problem is that you can't go back to that place that until you ain't going to the kingdom of heaven until you get faith, until you receive that faith. You're not going to go back to where you came out. But now they desire a better country, that is, an heavenly country, right? Wherefore God is not ashamed to be called their God, for he had prepared for them a city. See, God had prepared for you a city, man, but it's not the city that you think is going to be on earth, right? God prepared you a city in heaven, right? That's what you have to understand. He prepared you a city in heaven, a spiritual city, right? That's what he prepared for you. A lot of people are looking for the city on earth. They still trying to make it to the kingdom of Israel. They still trying to make it to the physical Israel. You're not understanding, man. You're not understanding the scriptures. God has prepared to you a city in heaven, a city in heaven, an Israel in heaven. By faith, Abraham, when he was tried, offered up Isaac. And he that had received the promises offered up his only begotten son. Right? So Isaac offered up his only begotten son. Right? Because he was tried. You know what I'm saying? He had that fear of the Most High, of whom it was said that in Isaac shall thy seed be called. A lot of people are not called because they wasn't called in Isaac. You got to understand. See, then a lot of brothers out here talking about, so what are you talking about? How you know you came from Isaac? You see, that's not what I'm talking about. See what I'm saying? That's carnal. If you think it, see, you thinking like that, look, oh, well, you need to go pull my genealogy. You need to go to Ancestry.com, right? You need to go get a DNA test, right? You need to go ahead and poke my hand real quick. You need to put a needle inside of my arm or something. See, you got a lot of brothers out here, man. They want to, well, you're not Judite. You're not a Judah. You're not an Israelite. You're not, how do you know you're an Israelite? Did you take a DNA test? Did you go over here? Did you, how you know you Issachar? How you know you this? How you know you Benjamin? How you know you Levite? All this, right? How do you know these things? You haven't taken an Ancestry.com. You haven't taken a genealogy test, right? You haven't taken a mouth swab, right? See, that's the problem with these Israelites, man. They carnally minded, man. You follow what I'm saying? They carnally minded. See, they thinking that this city is a physical city, man. And they thinking that this sacrifice that they're supposed to be making a physical sacrifice. You see what I'm saying? By faith, Abraham, when he was tried. See, you're not understanding that you're still trying to make the physical sacrifice of the laws of Moses. Instead of understanding that there's a spiritual sacrifice that you have to obtain. By faith, Abraham, when he was tried, offered up Isaac, and that had received the promises, offered up his only begotten son. Right? Because see, Isaac was offered up his son, his only begotten son, because he was tried. Right? Because look, it says, of whom it was said that in Isaac shall thy seed be called. See, a lot of brothers, see, when I say you looking for somebody, well, I guess you're going to take a DNA test to tell me whether or not I'm of Isaac, right? How do you know somebody is of Isaac? How do you know? How do you know? By faith. That's how you know. By faith. That's how you know if somebody is of Isaac. By faith, by the Spirit. That's how you know somebody is of Isaac. See, you looking for Isaac on a genealogy test. You're looking for Isaac for somebody to go to Ancestry.com. You're looking for Isaac on going back to Africa. That's not how you look for Isaac. You're looking for Isaac. You're looking for your brother and on a physical level. You're supposed to be looking for your brother on a spiritual level. See, they're not understanding that. 19, accounting that God was able to raise him up, even from the dead. See, that's how you get risen from the dead, right? That's how you know you from Isaac, because you're going to get risen from the dead, and the Spirit is going to bear witness of you. The Spirit, see, brothers know whether you in the Spirit or not, right? See, if you in the Spirit, you'll know if somebody else is in the Spirit. You see what I'm saying? But when you carnally minded, you're not going to know if somebody else is in the Spirit. Right? That's the problem, man. That's what happened with the Pharisees. See, they didn't know that Christ was in the Spirit, and that's what they did. You know what they did? They crucified him. The Jews, the black Jews and the black Edomites crucified him because they were looking for a DNA test. They was looking for a physical test. They was looking, oh, how do you know you're Christ? How do you know you're the Spirit of Christ? How do you know you have the Spirit? Because they looking for a DNA test. They looking for a physical, proof. They looking for a physical proof And that's why they are always going to get rejected by God. Because you're looking for a physical proof. You don't understand when you see someone that has the Spirit of Christ, because you don't understand spiritual things. 19, accounting that God was able to raise him up, even from the dead. See, that's the only way you're going to get risen from the dead for real. A lot of people out here trying to keep the law of Moses, not understanding the fulfillment of the law of Moses. They seeking after signs. They seeking after physical signs. They're seeking out, that's not the faith of God, right? That's not the true righteousness of God, right? The sign is right in your faith. You see what I'm saying? But they don't like that. They don't like that answer. You see what I'm saying? Christ came. He was the sign. But they like, well, I'm going to look around Christ. I'm going to look above Christ. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to look all over but of Christ. See, they don't want the Spirit, man. They going to look all over. They going to, instead of looking at Christ, instead of saying, damn, my brother might have that Spirit of Christ. You see what I'm saying? They're not going to do that. They're going to look all around their brother. They're going to look all around the sister. You see what I'm saying? The sign is Christ. The sign may be your brother. The sign may be your sisters. And guess what? A lot of people, they looking for the sign and all around. They looking for the cherries flying in the sky. They looking for all this observation and stuff. They looking for that sign. They looking for all the outward signs. They looking for a DNA test to prove that you're a Judite, to prove that you're an Israelite, to prove that you're a Simeonite, to prove all these different, the 12 tribes and all this different stuff. You got to prove that through genealogy to them. These brothers are carnal, man. Right? So let's get the scripture on that. Because a lot of people looking for a sign. They looking for a sign. Right? Let's get Luke chapter 11 and verse 29. Let's get Luke chapter 11. Because look, everybody looking around instead of looking within. That's the problem. Everybody looking all over the place instead of looking what's inside. Inside of you. Inside of your brothers. But they looking all around. They looking all around. They looking. See, a lot of brothers and sisters, all they do is talk about Christians. They always talking about the Edomites and all the Christians. Right? Because they always looking around. They looking for a way to find, to make, what they really doing is, they looking for a way to say that Christ is not real. See, it's not what they saying, it's what they not saying. You know what I'm saying? It's not what they're saying, it's what they're not saying. Right? That's why they always looking around and trying to figure out whether or not Christ is real. Because they're trying to find every little reason not to worship Christ. Not to believe in Christ. Not to have the faith of Christ. Luke chapter 11 and verse 29. And when the people were gathered thick together, he began to say, this is Christ. This is an evil generation. Man, see, look, this is an evil generation, man. Luke chapter 11 and verse 29. This is an evil generation. You got brothers, because you know why? Because there's too many people looking outside for a sign. Right? They out here, they don't have no faith. They gotta see it to believe it. Right? They need a DNA test. They need the ancestry.com because they need to see it in order to actually believe in Christ and actually to believe that you have the Spirit of Christ. Right? They have to see that first. They have to see it physically. You see what I'm saying? They don't believe you there. You say, man, I got that new car, man. They ain't gonna believe that because if they don't see it first, until you pull up in the driveway with it, they not gonna believe it. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of people are practical. A lot of people are carnal. A lot of people are literal. A lot of people have a veil over their eyes. A lot of people still walking in the flesh. A lot of people are still serving a serpent. A lot of people are still getting bit by the serpent. See what I'm saying? A lot of people are dead in the spirit. And the only way to raise them up in the spirit is they have to start looking within. They have to have that faith. They have to have the righteousness of God. They have to fear God. They have to start keeping the commandments of God. Right? They have to look for the spiritual tabernacle. They have to look for that spiritual city that the Most High is building for you, man. Right? That's what they have to do. But they still not looking. They're not looking, man. They're not looking for it. They're not trying to see it. This is an evil generation. They seek a sign. See, they seek after a sign. They seek after a physical sign instead of a spiritual sign. And there shall no sign be given it, but the sign of the prophet, the Jonas the prophet. That's the only sign you're going to get is Jonas the prophet. Well, where is Jonah today? Where is Christ today? Well, where is Moses today? See, it says, there shall no sign be given it, but the sign of the Jonas the prophet. See, you got to understand. See, people looking for a sign instead of looking for the prophet. Instead of looking for the prophet today. Instead of looking for that Moses today. Instead of looking for that Jonah today. Instead of looking for the Christ today. They not doing it. See what I'm saying? They still looking for another sign. They looking for that Christ to come out of the sky. You see what I'm saying? That's what they looking for. They just can't see it in their brother because they got that Cain spirit. You see what I'm saying? They got that murdering Cain spirit. They don't want to see it in their brothers. They want to look everywhere else outside the brother. Everywhere outside of their brothers is where they going to look because they don't want to see it within you because they have too much hate in their heart towards you. They have too much hate in their heart towards you to look at you. Man, they got too much hate in their heart to look at you. So they're going to look for everything else outside of you. Jonah came and everybody was looking outside for everything else but Jonah. Christ came. Everybody was looking outside of Christ but Christ. Moses came. Everybody was looking everywhere else but Moses. How many times are we going to have to repeat this process, bro? How many times? Everybody want to continue in their wickedness. This is an evil generation. Luke chapter 11 and verse 29 says, and when the people were gathered thick together. See, they was gathered thick together, man. They was gathered thick. See, it's a bunch of them. They gathered up thick, man. They start ganging out here, man. I'm telling you, they get the biggest camps. Man, they got the biggest camps out here, man. They got them all. Because you know why? They're going to get a flood of people. Because those people are carnal as well. And they going to get a lot of carnal brothers and sisters in their camp. Because it's more of them than it is of the brothers with the Spirit of Christ. And he began to say, this is an evil generation. They seek a sign, man. And there shall no sign be given it, but the sign of Jonah. See, you're going to be looking everywhere for a sign, but Jonah is the one that you're supposed to be looking for. Christ is the one you're supposed to be looking for. Moses is the one you're supposed to be looking for. See, today. But you're not looking for Moses today. You're making up your own righteousness in the truth. It's crazy, man. It's beyond me what these brothers and sisters are doing, man. By faith, Jacob, when he was dying, blessed both the sons of Joseph and worship, leaning upon the top of his staff. So Joseph also had faith. By faith, Isaac blessed Jacob and Esau concerning things to come. By faith, even Isaac blessed Jacob and Esau concerning the things to come. He didn't even know the things that was coming, but he foreshadowed it. He saw it coming before they actually came. Before it actually came to fruition, became of that physical equivalent. You see what I'm saying? By faith, Joseph, when he died, made mention of the departing of the children of Israel and gave commandment concerning his bones. Right? So Joseph even knew exactly what he wanted them to do with his bones after he died. Right? When he died, made mention of the departing of the children of Israel and gave commandment concerning his bones, concerning how you guys were supposed to worship him. By faith, Moses, when he was born, was hid 3 months of his parents. See, by faith, even Moses was born. He was born. He was hid 3 months of his parents because they saw he was a proper child. And they were not afraid of the king's commandment. See, they knew they hid Moses for 3 months. His parents hid him for 3 months because they knew he was a Israelite child. And he wasn't an Egyptian. So, but how did Moses end up blending in? Because they all was black. That's how. But you got brothers and sisters out here talking about Esau as the white man. How did Moses blend in during this time? How did Moses blend in? After 3 months, his parents didn't even want to bring him out to the people, to the Egyptians, because they knew that he was an Israelite child. So guess what? And how do all these Egyptians know that we are Israelites? By the Spirit. Because look, you might look like an Egyptian, but guess what? They know by your mannerisms and they know by your spirit that you're not. So just like they know that you are not an Egyptian, right? Because a lot of these people know, a lot of these nations know that you're not an Egyptian, right? They know that. They're not telling you that, but they know that. They know that you're not an Egyptian. So how much more do you know that they not in Israelite? How much more do you know that some of these people that's claiming to be in the truth are not Israelites? Right? By the Spirit, by faith. Let me read that again. Verse 23 says, by faith, Moses, when he was born, he was hid 3 months of his parents because they saw he was a proper child. He was an Israelite child. And they were not afraid of the king's commandment. See, and they were not afraid of the king's commandments. So by faith, even his parents was not afraid of the king's commandment to raise up Moses and to raise him up to a grown man. Even by faith, they was able to do that to keep Moses from getting killed all this time. Right? So you got to understand that you got to have faith. By faith, Moses, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter. See, even by faith, when he was come to years, when he became a grown man, he was refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, man. He was refused. He refused it. You see what I'm saying? That's a lot of faith, because you could get your head cut off by the Pharaoh's daughter, man. Right? You can get your head cut off by the Pharaohs, by these kings, man. The kings of Egypt. Right? You could have got your head cut off by that for rejecting to be, to rejecting to be the son of Pharaoh's daughter. So you got to understand that's a big no-no during this time. We're talking 3,800 plus years ago. That was a big no-no. You could not say, well, I'm not sure. You're not my daddy. You're not my mama. You see what I'm saying? If you would have said that back then, you would have got your head cut off. You see what I'm saying? And the way we just willingly do this today, this generation is completely desensitized. Because we go around all the time, we tell our own parents that they're not our mother, they're not our father. Right? And they just kick us out the house. You feel me? So you got to understand that, Shalom. So you got to understand that back then, they didn't allow that at all. They didn't allow brothers and sisters to just go around just cussing their parents out, man. And you got brothers and sisters today, they just go around cussing out their parents. You see what I'm saying? They go around, man, white children do it all the time. They be cussing their parents out, man. Mama, shut up. Mama, you're not my mother. Forget you. I'm running away for 3 days. You see what I'm saying? Black kids do this too, man. They be like, Mom, but, I can't say it because, this is my YouTube, so I can't be cussing on here. But, I got to keep it PG-13 around here, man. I can't be going crazy around here. So, but, yeah, man, black children do this all the time. You got a lot of Israelite children that do this, right? These uncircumcised children, man, they running around all crazy, cussing out their mom, cussing out their daddy, cussing out their grandma. I know a brother, man, he slapped his grandma, man. You got a lot of people out here cussing their grandmas out, slapping their grandma, throwing their grandma under the bus and stuff, whatever. Just madness. You see what I'm saying? So back then, you would have got killed for that. You see what I'm saying? But now, you can do that now. All lolly jolly. And wouldn't nobody do nothing to you. See what I'm saying? But see, you got to have a lot of faith to be going against your parents at a young age, in your teens. You're talking 18, 20, 19, 20 years old. You gotta have a lot of faith to be sitting here going against your parents and telling your parents what you not gonna do. You couldn't do that back then. You tell your parents you couldn't do something, you wasn't gonna do nothing. Man, them parents had that switch out. They go out there and get that switch on the tree. They'll go out there and get that belt. You see what I'm saying? Boy, you be jumping all over the couch, getting spankings. But see, people don't believe in spankings no more, man. They done took it out of the school system. You know what I'm saying? They done took spankings they done took God out of the school system. Right? They done did all the way with all and anything spiritual. They've done away completely with all of that, man. Right? So that's why everybody's so desensitized today. And not realizing that they not supposed to be dishonoring their father and their mother. Because that's a commandment. To honor thy father and thy mother, man, whether they wicked or whether they righteous. You're supposed to honor thy father and thy mother. And not just your father and your mother on earth, but your father and your mother in heaven. Man, the problem is, this is why we're talking about this faith. Because your father and your mother in heaven is trying to teach you the faith of God that is spiritual, the faith of God that is in heaven. Because you know the faith of God that's on the earth. You know that already. But do you know the faith of God that is in heaven? Are you listening to your father and mother that is in heaven? Right? A lot of people don't listen to their fathers and mothers that are in heaven. Right? They only listen to the father and the mothers that's on the earth. They only listen to their camp leaders. They only listen to their father in the camp. They only listen to their mother in the camp. They only listen to their mother and father in the world. They don't listen to their mother and their father in heaven. Which one is more important? The father and the mother that is in heaven. That is what's more important. That is what's more important. You listen to the father and the mother that is in heaven. That's what Moses is doing. Moses is listening to his father and his mother that is in heaven. See, that's how you walk in the Spirit. That's how you receive the Spirit of Christ. When he was come to years, refused to be called the son of the Pharaoh's daughter because he was listening to the father and the mother in heaven all along. He was born of the Spirit, and that's why he was listening to the father and the mother that was in heaven and going against everybody that was on earth. Are you going against everybody that's on earth because you listening to the father and the mother that is in heaven? See what I'm saying? Moses was doing that. He was going against the world to listen to being obedient to the father and the mother that was in heaven, man. Are you going, you see, if you disobedient to your mama and your daddy, and it's for good cause, then you profit, right? Because you're listening to the father and the mother that is in heaven. But if you just being disobedient because you're not listening to the father and mother in heaven, then it's not going to profit you. And look at what's going on today. All these kids today, they don't listen to the father and the mother that's in heaven, man. The most. You see what I'm saying? They listen to the father and the mother on earth. And that's why a lot of these kids are rebellious as hell, man. It's a wicked generation. Right? Verse 24, by faith, Moses, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, man. Because he was listening to the father and the mother that was in heaven, mostly. You see what I'm saying? 25, choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of God. See, he was choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of God. Why? Because he was listening to the Father that was in heaven, than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season. See, he was like, man, look, I'd rather suffer with the children. I'd rather suffer with my own people than to suffer with all of the sins and stuff that is given me, right? That all the pleasures of the world, all the sins of the world. Verse 26, it says, esteeming the reproach of Christ greater riches than the treasures in Egypt. See, the Spirit is greater. There's greater riches than the treasures in Egypt, man. So he understood. See, when you walking in the Spirit and you walking in the faith, you understand that the Spirit is greater riches in the Spirit than being rich in the physical. Man, a lot of people rich in the physical, but they're not rich in the spiritual. And that's the problem, man. See, I'd rather be esteemed the reproach of Christ. See, I'd rather be made esteemed or the reproach of Christ. I'd rather be made a fool for Christ's sake. You see what I'm saying? Because that's how you become rich in the Spirit. That's how you become the greatest in the kingdom of heaven, right? But if you being a fool for this world, then you're not really trying to walk in the Spirit. You don't really have no faith, man. You see what I'm saying? Are you suffering with Christ? Are you suffering with the Spirit of Christ? Right? Are you suffering with the Spirit? Or are you against the Spirit? Esteeming the reproach of Spirit Greater riches than the treasures in Egypt, man. See, you gotta understand the reproach of the spirit is greater than the treasures of Egypt, greater than the treasures of this world, right? But a lot of people don't understand value. You see what I'm saying? You don't understand that your value in Christ is more important than your value that's in the world. For he had respect unto the recompense of the reward. See, you gotta have respect unto the recompense, up unto the compensation that's coming in the reward that's gonna come with you suffering with Christ and you being fooled for Christ's sake, right? You gotta understand the reward that comes with that, right? This is the greatest reward. This is the ultimate reward, right? While you looking for rewards on earth, you supposed to be looking. You need to be looking for the reward that is in Christ. By faith, he forsook Egypt. See, by faith, he forsook the world, man. Not fearing the wrath of the king, man. He didn't even fear the wrath of even the king of Egypt. For he endured as seeming him who is invisible. See, he endured as seeing him who is invisible. He saw God, the invisible God. Do you see the invisible God? Do you see the invisible? Right? Through faith, he kept the Passover in the sprinkling of blood, lest he that destroyed the firstborn should touch them. See what I'm saying? He kept the Passover and the sprinkling of blood. By faith, they passed through the Red Sea as by the dry land, which the Egyptians are saying to do were drowned. So they even tried to pass over the Egyptians, and they drowned. But by faith, Moses passed through the Red Sea as by the dry land. But the Egyptians trying to do it, they tried to do the same thing and ended up drowning. The same thing, man. They couldn't do it. Which the Egyptians are saying to do were drowned. The Egyptians like, they've been saying they're going to do it and they never did it. But Moses succeeded in doing it. By faith, the walls of Jericho fell down after they were accomplished about 7 days. By faith, the harlot Rahab perished not with them that believed not. See, man, Rahab was a harlot. Rahab was a harlot. And I guess that's a she. She didn't even perish. She didn't even perish. It says perish not with them that believe not. So Rahab, with faith, Rahab was able to get salvation, man. All the people that didn't believe, well, Rahab believed. When she had received the spies with peace, right? So she received the spies with peace, man. And what shall I more say? For the time would fail me to tell of Gideon and of Barak and of Samson and of Judah and of David, also the Samuel and of the prophets. See, he said, what more shall I say? Right? For the time would fail to tell of Gideon and of Barak and of Samson. Man, we be here all day. We be here all day, bro. We'd be here all day if we were just talking about, if we go into all the faith of Barak and Samson and David and Samuel and all the prophets, we'd be here all day through all of these prophets that had faith. He said the time will fail me. There's more than 3 witnesses, multiple witnesses of how you have to walk by faith. Who through faith subdued kingdoms, wrought righteousness, obtained promises, stopped the mouth of lions. You see what I'm saying? That's how you stop the mouth of lions. Quenches the violence of fire, escaped the edge of the sword, out of the weakness were made strong, waxed valiant in fight, turned to flight the armies of the aliens. Women received their dead, raised to life again. And others were tortured, not accepting deliverance. Right? See, others were tortured because they didn't have no faith. But there was women that was raised to life again. Then they were dead. They was raised to life again. Right? Because they had that faith. And others, like Susanna, right? Like Esther. And others were tortured and not accepting deliverance, that they might obtain a better resurrection. Right? And others had trial of cruel mockings and scourgings. Yea, moreover, of bonds and imprisonment. They were stoned. They were sawn asunder, were tempted, were slain with the sword. They wandered about in sheepskins and goatskins, being destitute, afflicted, tormented, of whom the world was not worthy. They wandered in deserts and in mountains and in dens and caves of the earth. And these all, having obtained a good report through faith, received not the promise. God having provided some better thing for us, that they without us should not be made perfect. So all these other people, man, that don't have faith, you go about just being wanderers. You go about just being wanderers of what's, you wandering all over the place. Busybodies, different things like that. Wandering in the desert, not knowing what's going on. Lukewarm, mocking and scourging, envying, strife, seditions, maliciousness, right? All this stuff, murdering, because you don't have faith. You have no fear in God, right? You're not walking in the spirit. You're walking after the flesh. You could be keeping all the laws of Moses and still be walking not of faith. Right? Verse 39 says, in these all, having obtained a good report through faith, receive not the promise. God having provided some better thing for us, that they without us should not be made perfect. You're not going to be made perfect without us, without the spirit of the spirit of faith, without the prophets that teaching you how to walk in the spirit of faith. You're not going to be made perfect. You're not going to be made whole, right? You're not going to be sanctified. You're not going to be purified. You're not going to be consecrated. You're not going to be baptized. You're not going to be circumcised. You're not going to be accepted of God without faith. You're not. Shalom.